Welcome to the Canadian Business Quarterly podcast, where we speak with Canada's most influential industry leaders on the business and economic development issues taking place across the country. You can stay up to date with all of our content, including our publications, newsletters, and podcasts by visiting www.thecbq.ca and clicking on subscribe.
Today's guest is Lionel Gibbs. Lionel has 35 years of animal health industry experience, including working internationally. The majority of his career has been with Sharing Plow Animal Health and Vetiquinol. He is now the CEO of Alberta Veterinary Laboratories and Solvet, having now been in the role for a year. Lionel, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Jesse.
All right, so tell us about Alberta Veterinary Laboratories.
Absolutely. So Alberta Vet Laboratories is a privately owned company, Western Canadian based. It's family owned. It was founded by a couple by the name of Merle and Barb Olson. They have two sons that also work with the business or work within the business. They started this company based on their desire to expand research ideas and put them into place. They worked in academia at U of C for years, and they saw a lot of ideas, great ideas that were researched and were never established or built for the consumer market. So they wanted to change this and decided to use this to build their brand based on research. It was founded in 2009. The business is built on innovation by request. So filling unmet needs of farmers and veterinarians on products that they require that they can't have access to or other big companies haven't provided, or just brand new ideas on hey, I sure could use this type of product for this type of segment in the livestock industry. Based on the situation of the research and the development, they have several patented products that are patented in several jurisdictions and are being marketed worldwide. In addition, we distribute products for other companies in Canada, for other pharmaceutical companies that have products that they've registered but don't have a footprint. So that kind of covers what Solvet is.
Okay. You had said that, this started through academics that found a need for a business and went out to solve that. So through this time, how has the business evolved since its founding more than a decade ago?
Well, it really has evolved quickly. We have our own manufacturing site. It's 2 years old now in Southeast Calgary. We now have 85 employees, sales, marketing, manufacturing. We have scientists, biochemists, all of the above. And we focus on two areas. It's large animal and companion animal businesses. Our annual turnover is $20 million. And, one of the things that we're quite proud of is obviously being Canadian, but the profits stay in our country and are used to reinvest in developing other novel products for the Canadian livestock producers. So, with that, we also have an expanding research and development arm that's attached to Solvet. It's called Chinook Quality Research. So that's how it's kind of evolved. It's, research, adding people, adding manufacturing, and also expanding into the companion animal zone.
Okay. So what areas would you say that you specialize in? And I think initially when we spoke, there's quite a multitude of product lines that you have now, isn't there?
Yeah, for sure. We have 40 products of our own that we manufacture and distribute. And again, distribute not only in Canada, but Australia, New Zealand, and other parts of the world. In addition, we have distribution and it's very quick, very fast growing. 25 products there, probably 36 products in the next 24 months in addition to that. And the key focus that we have is animal welfare, pain management, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, anything to make life easier for those animals. We actually have a eye care for cattle that's a branded approach, and we've established eye care for dogs, eye care for cats, eye care for horses. It's just a marketing approach to show that the company is concerned with how animals are raised, for our food chain in a welfare fashion, and that's kind of our focus. We also have anti-parasiticides, porons, and phosphorus bolus for actually again a welfare approach for downer cows on the dairy side.
I don't know too much about the sector. So again, probably like a lot of people, I would have assumed this would be covered by large pharma in their animal division. So do you want to just kind of talk us through your difference compared to other pharmaceutical companies who might work in this space?
Absolutely. So large pharmaceutical companies traditionally are publicly traded companies, very large, very global in their approach. And, in terms of Canada, Canada's a small market in that big picture. So very small market in that big picture of the global approach. So they're looking at chasing, the big bets. So the big anti-parasitic, so, flea and tick type products for your dogs and cats, those kind of things. So they're investing a lot of money in that approach. And what happens is some of these niche products that the vets need or have had in the past are disappearing. So we fill a forgotten need by larger companies. We're very nimble, and we pride ourselves on that, and able to make decisions and develop products quickly. That's something where I think is a big difference for us. Decisions are made at a local level rather than very hierarchical or bureaucratic. And in addition, we also research and create products based on customer demand. So the big pharmas generally are looking at like these big ticket molecules, where we are listening to the grassroots. Hey, I could use this. This is something that I need for this disease, this scenario. And we research and develop that for them. And we also are very low cost manufacturers. So I think those would be the main things.
Excellent. Okay. We are a business media outlet. I think you guys are hitting some significant milestones in growth. So why don't you tell us about what's happening in the business moving forward?
Absolutely. So we'll hit over $30 million in 2023. We've had significant growth in the last couple of years, 48% growth year over year last year. And we're expanding, as mentioned, into global markets. So we're actually looking at establishing, because animal welfare is becoming such a big focus internationally, animal welfare products are something that are sought after. And we have a couple patented products, for specific procedures that are being sought after by many jurisdictions. And like I mentioned before, they're patented. So we're engaging with a lot of foreign governments on that. We've got a lot of interest in some other pharmaceutical companies that want to add this to their portfolio. And they're in Australia, New Zealand, UK, US, but also the EU and South America. We are looking at manufacturing opportunities with some Australian companies as well as some US companies. So manufacturing products here and exporting them into those jurisdictions as a CMO. And like I mentioned, in conversations with government agencies, because governments are really trying hard to make sure that their producers are providing food that is managed in a very welfare-driven approach.
Every industry has something that's taking place within it, and very rarely these are the things that don't really hit the mainstream news. Is there anything taking place within your industry that's worth discussing or sharing at the moment?
Yeah, I think so. For us, one of the things that I think we pride ourselves on, and we're getting a lot of attention from our own government agencies, is we're one of the very few companies that actually manufacture pharmaceuticals in Canada. There's only 3 that I know of that currently do that, and 2 are out east, and we're the only Western Canadian company that manufactures animal health pharmaceuticals. In COVID, I think that it exposed the supply chain, and that's why I think we're getting a lot of attention from government right now, is to say, hey, we need to look after our food producing animals, because that's our food that we feed our people with, and if we have to rely on
domestic food security, effectively.
Exactly. Domestic food security. We're the ones that provide the drugs and the opportunity for those producers to deliver that. And if we run into challenge with imports from other areas and we can't manufacture it in Canada, well, you know what happens after that. So that's something that's happening, and we feel very strongly, built for and by Canadians. So we're trying to support our Canadian producers and our Canadian consumers.
Well, Lionel, that's our time for today. So as we begin to wrap up, is there anything else you might like to add before we ultimately look at signing off?
The only thing I'd like to add is just how exciting our maybe I'll solve that the growth pattern is for this company, and the interest in animal welfare and the support that we're getting, not only in Canada, but globally, is very exciting for us. And we're creating a lot of jobs. We're looking at expanding into sterile manufacturing as well. Our current manufacturing is non-sterile. So we'll be the first sterile manufacturing for animal health products in Western Canada ever to be built. And that's a project we're looking at in the next 6 to 8 months. So I guess that would be about all I would have to add.
Okay, fantastic. Well, Lionel, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you. Appreciate it very much, Jesse.
This has been a production of the Canadian Business Quarterly, a division of Romulus Rising Proprietary Limited. All rights reserved. You can stay up to date with the Canadian Business Quarterly, including our publications, newsletters, and podcasts by visiting www.thecbq.ca and clicking on subscribe.